Hi everyone, Zamber Sands here. Just going to run through the basics on building. I'm going to take this one step at a time, try to take it from the very beginning and go from there. Okay, the first thing I want to do is cover how to move your camera around. This is going to seem really basic to a lot of you, but for some people it might not be, so let's cover this. Okay, first thing you can do is you hold down your Alt key and your Control key and your left mouse button. And that allows you to move around pretty much any way you want. And then to zoom in, you release your control key and you push your mouse forward, and to zoom back. Okay, so now let's find a spot on the map or on the land where we can actually build. To do that, you click on the search and you type in the word sandbox. Make sure you're under places, click search, and then just choose one of the many available public sandboxes. Okay, now that we're there, there's two ways to start building. You can either do that by clicking on the build button down at the bottom, or right clicking on anywhere on the land and left clicking on the word create. That brings up this window, and it also turns our cursor into a magic wand. Now just quickly on this window, you're going to see all these different objects. Now when you're into buying land, which you may be into already or may get into later, these objects are also referred to as prims. If you buy something, with a lot of detail to it or a lot of parts to it, those parts are these objects, and they are listed as prims. And you can look at that later. Okay, so we're going to build a cube. Just something simple to start with. We have a cube selected, and we left click on the ground. When we do that, you'll notice that this automatically fills up with a whole bunch of information about the cube. Just before we look at that, I'm going to click on the General tab, and I'm going to give this object a name. I'm going to call this box, because that's what I'm going to build. And then press enter. Now the reason that's important is because later, when you take that item into your inventory, it's only going to be named object, and if you have multiple ones in there, you're not going to know which one you're working on. So it's always best to label that first. Okay, quickly we're going to go over this window. You see position, rotate, stretch, and select texture. I'm not going to worry about select texture on this one, just going to worry about these first three. Position refers to the position it is within the sim you are in. Now the way you can change its position is by clicking with your left mouse button and dragging these arrows, and you see how they highlight when your cursor is over top of them. Okay, another way to move them around is by typing in the number that you want here. So let's say we want it at 122 even, at 154 even, as I like working with even whole numbers. And let's go for 22 in height. That's the up and down one. So that shows us that we can move it around that way. You'll also notice that these X, Y, and Z are red, green, and blue. That refers to the color of the arrows. You'll notice too that these ones are just white. As soon as I click on the word or the circle in front of the word rotate and move the dot down to there, you'll see that X, Y, and Z are now color coded to match these rings. Now we can change the rotation of this box by again doing it freehand, left clicking and dragging these rings around, or we can punch in numbers here. So I'm going to put it back to where it was. So we're going to put in 0, 0, and again 0. But I'm not happy with the size of it. I want to make it, instead of half a meter cube, because you'll notice the word meter here, and it's 0.500, I want to make it 1 meter cube. So in order to do that, I click on stretch, and I could either drag it in size with these dots, okay, or I can punch in 1 meter here. Just before that, I want to cover one other quick thing. Notice I have a check mark in front of stretch both sides. And when I grab the red dot, the left side and the right side both move equally. But if I uncheck that, now only the left side is going to, because I'm dragging the left side red dot. If I did it with the right side, only the right side would. Okay, so something to be aware of. So let's make it 1 meter cube. Put 1, and 1, and 1. Okay, now we have a 1 metered cube. And that's all I'm going to cover in this one. And I'll pick up where we leave off and cover more in the next one.